That's why it's like the more of the survival of the fittest is going on up here now. Because the most successful people in the world are the smartest ones.
Damn, that was a good one right there. Exactly, the survival of the fittest is in the mind. It's a mind game
like,
now.
Till 10, and then when you wake up at 10, it just feels different, bro.
It's like your day is done. Why? I don't know. It's weird.
Because when you get off work at 3, you feel hyped.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you wake up at 10, you're like,
it's like, that's kind of, because then it's 11, then it's 12. Then like it's weird.
And then after it's 12, then it's like 3. And then when it's 3, it's like
it's 6. Exactly.
But bro, imagine like. It's 6. You have like 6 more hours.
I know, but
it doesn't feel like that.
It never feels like it. But when you do wake up at 7 or 6, you just feel like
you feel on top of it.
Yeah, you're like I can do this.
I didn't have to go to work till 12 today, and I was gonna like do stuff, and then I had this epiphany. I'm like, I could wake up and play Pokemon, and then I played Pokemon for like 20 minutes before the sleep came back over me, and I decided I was like, all right, I'm gonna put the game down, and we put like fucking like excerpts of the Chappelle Show because it's like $20 to buy the season. So I was like, fuck it, I'll just run the Comedy Central little like 8-minute short clips of it, and then we fell asleep, and then this Chappelle 2.5 hour performance that he did for like 30 people that was like unofficial, and it was just when he was like doing his rounds before like all his newer specials drops. It like went on, and I was in and out of consciousness, just like laughing at jokes, like falling back asleep, laughing.
It was on YouTube?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. It's like 2.5 hours long. It's not official, but it's like a whole special worth of content, and it's actually really fucking funny for the parts that I heard.
Yeah, I wanna see what's up with that.
I'll send it to you.
Because I'm down with Dave Chappelle.
Dude, Dave Chappelle's the GOAT, bro. I fucking love Chappelle. But yeah. Hey, welcome back to Hindsight 2020. Episode number, is it 18? Or is it 19?
Shit.
I think it's 18. It might be 18 or 19. Think about your year.
We don't think about the number.
It'll say it on the YouTube channel, though. Think about your year. Think about your month, your week, and your day. But remember not to regret.
You can't regret it.
None of that shit.
It's been a crazy couple months. Now, dude, it's April.
Dude.
How does that even make any sense?
It's halfway through April.
Exactly.
It's more than halfway through April.
Exactly.
Bro, we were just sitting here tripping on the fact that 2019 was over. And
2019 was over, and then the corona started like really going crazy in February. You remember? Like
the very end of February, yeah.
But that feels like years
ago. It feels like a while ago. But then again, it also doesn't feel like we've been in quarantine that long.
Kind of. A little like, the thing is like, because it's a loose quarantine around here, like you still see people going to the beach and shit like that. But
things are different now, though. Last week, like you go to the store, everyone has a mask now.
Oh yeah, it's like almost mandatory. But see, it kind of is quarantine. It almost reminds me of a movie in some spots. It's like all fenced off at the beach, like fucking.
It's fenced off.
Yeah, it's fenced off,
bro. And Costa Mesa, they're sand in people's skate parks.
They're what? Oh yeah, they put the sand.
Did they do that to our shit too?
Not to ours, but I seen like the posts of different skate parks getting it. I don't think any of the ones around here got them. I think they'd be pissed, but
they'd be so mad, bro.
Dude, yeah, I don't know what that reasoning is, but keep kids off the streets.
I get it, because like kids don't want to take it serious, and they're the ones that are going to be the least affected.
Where'd the sand come from, though?
Oh no, they took. You know how like they do it when they fill in people's like backyard pools and shit when they don't want to skate
Yeah, I know,
there?
but like the city had to really go.
Really try.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They don't have to put that much dirt there for it to fuck it up.
Yeah, you have to fuck it up. But enough conscious effort to do it. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I get it though.
Workers, our tax money being sent to that.
And to
$1,200. Yeah, $1,200 or more if you have kids and like
every kid's $500, right?
Yep.
Jesse got $1,700.
I don't. No, I didn't ask him.
No, because okay, wait, no, because I thought maybe you knew because he fucking, I said that shit on Instagram where I was like, go check your bank account, motherfuckers, wake up, good morning. And then he's like, but I bet I got more than you. And I'm like, I know you do.
He pulled that one on you. Okay, yeah, I don't know. I didn't ask him, but he definitely got at least that, but I don't know. There's fucking, I don't even, Dylan fucking got like 2 or some shit like that, bro. I don't know. He tripped me out. Because he's on unemployment right now, so you get like a different account when you're on unemployment, Like
Wait.
And so I don't know.
He has his tax profile, then he has his unemployment profile. When the check hit both?
It hit both.
What? That's fucking...
He said, thank you, and then again, and then the next day he said, thank you again. I was like, wait, you got 2? He said, yeah. What?
I mean, goddamn, that's dope.
I said, you better hope they don't come for your ass later, but, I mean, what are they going to do, They sent it to your ass. Come get it later.
What is that called? Indian giving? It's not a very politically correct word, but they're just like, no, we need that back.
But I mean, what? Yeah, what can you do if the IRS comes for their money?
Just give it to them.
If you have it still.
Or they'll just give you
charge
a debt,
you. Like a little payment,
like a little note saying you need to pay this back by this time, or we're gonna charge you this much interest.
But I mean, shout out however that came from. I haven't done all the research on that. What do you know?
Who issued the checks?
I mean, where'd the funding come from? Just America?
The funding comes from them pulling out a certain amount that then gets like equaled out in like amount of debt that they have, and then they just give us the money.
I mean, yeah, but okay, so why can't they do this with like every single...
Bro, they can, but like, they really could, but okay. So it's tax dollars for one. Mm-hmm. Adrenochrome is second. No, we're just kidding.
No, that's actually
no, but like for real,
zero.
Dude, trillions of dollars have gone missing from our budgets before that they can't track. And I was like thinking about watching this documentary called Above Majestic.
I seen that shit.
You've seen it?
Yeah.
Okay, well they talk about how like there's underground, and I already knew that there's 151 underground military bases. Like one's in Los Alamos, one's under the Denver.
Wait, how did you know?
Airport.
How do you know that's in that documentary?
Because I was watching the previews and they were talking about how there's there's all these secret military bases and shit, and that's where the funding goes. And like I already heard that before, but like not in Above Majestic. But anyway, so I don't. That's like conspiracy shit. Like the money we just have shitloads of it. And then
that's where you can. I think that's where I saw that China shit. What I was telling you about, or what we talked about last podcast, where there's like all these Chinese cities and like malls with running everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I saw that in that shit.
Okay, for sure.
So yeah,
I've seen that shit in another thing. So there's so many conspiracy movies. But,
of course, yeah. That is a huge. There's some far fetched ideas in that fucking. Or I wouldn't not even to say far fetched. It's like like maybe. Things that I would never even think of, but I mean, shit.
I want to watch it though.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely a good watch. Everything's a good watch, I think, like, except for things that are, I guess, pretty brainwashing in my, like little kid things that we can't really gain anything from, except for like poison and poisoning our brain. But like things that have in the nature of thinking outside the box, it's always good to just give it a glimpse.
Crazy that the way we think about it is like flip flop for how other people think about it.
Yeah, they'll be like, that shit's what the fuck you doing watching all that retarded shit, you weirdo.
In reality, we're just keeping our mind open.
Yeah, exactly.
If it really was happening, it wouldn't surprise us.
I always tell Kara this shit. I'll be like, even if I'm on a spiritual path of awakening, I still am saving my money. I'm still getting on my push-ups and shit. Like I'm still doing my own thing. Like I'm still worried about my path. I'm still doing my music. I'm doing everything.
Still in the physical.
Yeah, but I still gotta, work on both ends. Even if like it's something you can't see, it's something that I can feel. Like it's weird.
No, I feel you. And you kind of feel out of touch and out of line when you're not like remembering that you know that shit.
Exactly.
It's like that this is the truth, but no one in their everyday experience is talking about it. It's not getting brought up, and you kind of like start to feel like further and further from yourself when you're not like involved in it.
Yeah.
Involved in learning more about it.
Which comes with everything that repetition and learning and like retaining knowledge or whatever you want to call whatever this brain stem is. Like whatever this is that is retaining all the information comes with repetitiveness, because without it, you probably couldn't go do a front air first try, right? You know, like, right, you'd have to warm up, take a couple of days, and then you'd be able to get that shit.
I think I'm going to do that for the Find Our Way video. I want to skate in it. And all I'm going to have to do, because this is what I did. Because, bro, before we had shot the West Coast Yoga Tales video back in 2018, I hadn't skated consistently for like 2 years.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
The last time I skated was when I was 19, and I was still going to the park every now and then after I would get out of class from college, or maybe 18. Because it was before I turned 19 that I quit. So, and then I was, 20... I was about to turn 21 in that video, so I hadn't skated for a good, like, 2.5 years at all. Mm-hmm. And then I would just go to the park at 6 a.m. before everyone else would get there, and the kids were going to go to school anyway.
Oh, yeah, you were practicing, right?
And I would just go, and I would pump around the bowl, and I would do that, like, every day for the first couple weeks of the month, and then by the end of the month, I was, like, doing 50-50 grinds on the deep end, and then right before the video, I was like, all right, I don't want to do too much of this because I know I'm going to eat shit and my hips bad, but I'm going to start doing the airs, and then I was getting the airs and, like, all that shit.
But it takes a little bit of a warm up, you know. But I got a month, like you said, like not that long, but it's not like in your mind, it's not like right there unless you keep it in there.
I could, but I was like more gauging it that way because of my body. I could jump right into it, but if my body bounced back the way it did when I was 13 and I was learning that shit, it'd be different. Mm-hmm. Like I just did that so I would know that for sure I was gonna land it. And that's what happens when you warm up that way. Like you really prep yourself up to that big thing, then you know you're gonna land it. Mm-hmm. And that's what I was doing. But yeah,
you know you're gonna land that shit. I was just thinking about that the other day. Like if you want to get into like all this weird energy, spirituality thing, like everything you do is almost like a psychic experience. You know, like you have to have like you almost think one step ahead of yourself. You know, almost like even when you say you landed a trick or some shit, like you had to think about the trajectory of where the board was gonna land, where your body was gonna be positioned, how you were going to bend your knees. You know, you did that all subconsciously. Like, you didn't think to bend your knees. You bent your knees because of, you know, the impact of everything. But if you did it right and you landed in the exact, like, the spot you wanted to, then you're going to ride away. But that all came from a projection that you made in your mind. So it's like almost like a psychic, you know, like experience. It's weird. And it comes with everything. You know, you think ahead before you do anything. And that's why planning is so important because...
That's why it's so crazy when, like, you can see something and then you start to feel it happening versus when you feel like you can't see it and then you're, like, on your couch not doing shit. You would have been proud of me, bro. These last 2 days I was feeling cloudy like that and I still got a mix done for a song that I've been working on. Like, I finished up, like, I got a final mix now for a song that I, like, need to get sent out to get mastered, and we did, like, 5 of our videos. We didn't shoot our podcast. We lagged on that, but we're gonna, like, I've been trying to make sure that commitment that we made to, like, ourselves in the beginning of the year of grit is, like, going through. Even when I don't feel it, I'm still doing something.
I mean, I wrote a bar about that the other day, like, literally, like, almost exactly what you said. A little different, you know, but you'll hear it eventually.
But yeah, I want to skate in this upcoming video. I want to, like, bust some frontside airs, maybe do a couple tuck knees over the transfer.
What video?
The Find Our Way video.
Oh, okay.
Because it's all quarantine shit, so, like, it's going to be just me by myself doing a bunch of shit. Maybe Yamina will be in the video, too. The homie Levi is going to shoot it. The one I was showing you that works with Nappy 2K. And yeah, it's going to be fun. I want to put a lot of, like, time into just making sure that whatever I do for the video is going to look super, like, cool. You know how sometimes, like, you really fuck with something that you do, and then sometimes you don't really fuck with something that you do, but everyone else might fuck with the thing that you didn't fuck with, but because you don't fuck with it, you no longer want to push it. Mm-hmm. I want to make sure that it's not one of those. There's a lot of, like, videos that people still fuck with that I did back in the day, but, like, I don't fuck with them anymore, so I don't want to push them anymore. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I want to make sure that I don't ever do a video like that again.
You want to make sure it's all shit that you can look back
just like
on.
with the tattoo, I made sure with the Flower Life that I would, 90 years old, I'd still fuck with this.
It's going to resonate.
Yep.
That's literally life right there.
Yeah.
When you're tripping, that shit's sick to look at, too.
Super. Man, I haven't tripped in a while, though. Fuck. I mean, it's like we should do shrooms during the quarantine. I was like, okay.
Shit.
We should go to
Everyone's getting a little adventurous, you know? I bet so many people have tried so many things they never thought they would just because they've been stuck, quote unquote, in the house, you know?
A lot of time invested in things that they usually don't have time to do either, too. That's dope.
It's weird, though, because I don't know. It's just, I don't feel quarantined because of how light it is over here, you know? Like, it is, like, the stores are weird and it is kind of different around town and stuff like that. But if you want to go, like me and Jesse took pictures today, you know, like if you want to go do like simple things like that, you can go take a hike and not be, you know, bothering anyone. You can go out to Palomar Mountain and go park and take a hike. You know, no one's really gonna say too much to you, you know. But like, it's just weird that it took all that for people to just start realizing that they can do their self matters. You know, like they can do things for themselves, and it's cool to hang out with yourself sometime, or be in your crib, or love your family, or I don't know. It's weird.
Maybe it was a universal reset button.
Yeah, universal. Hopefully.
Or maybe the powers that be just wanted to, like... Dude, there's so many things that could be going on behind the scenes right now. The 5G towers.
Yeah, I mean, those are getting put up as we speak. So, I mean, that's, like, not even really conspiracy. It's conspiracy in, like, what it's all gonna... Yeah, exactly. What it's all gonna unfold into.
It all happened right now. Just coincidentally.
Yeah, I know. That is definitely a fucking weird coincidence. Coincidence is such a fucking loose term, too, bro. You know, like, that's, like... been the topic of the last maybe 9 or 10 podcasts that we've had, you know, just weird coincidences that we see or just that people make and then that other people try to refute or
that
just
Gates
write off.
Gates 5 years ago, we're not ready for the next pandemic.
I know.
Gates right now, who's ready for their fucking corona vaccine?
Exactly. Everyone's tripping, bro. And then that whole chip thing too.
Oh, okay. So have you heard more about that?
No. I literally see. I don't get too involved into things that are that crazy, bro. Because like, even if I do, you know, I won't even really want to speak on that shit because like, it is all you know, that is super speculation. You know,
that shit's in our passports though.
Yeah,
the RFID chips are.
But
there.
At the same time, if they put the 5G towers up and we all have our cell phones, then it doesn't really matter. Like, you know, like at that point, they already have our fingerprints and they have our face from all of our phones from before, you know, like even if you threw your phone, they still have a copy of like everything, all of your DNA. And then if they have the towers up, which is supposed to have facial recognition itself, then you wouldn't matter if you had the cell phone, you know, just.
Wait a second. I heard about that.
Yeah.
That's a real thing. Like,
yeah.
Because I heard that with the 5G, you'll be able to be like Uber and then like a.
Exactly. It's supposed to be that high. It's supposed to be the future, you know, futuristic type shit where it's like everything is right at your fingertips, like at the speak of your voice.
It's kind of dope, but you gotta like make sure that the people that are in charge are not weird. Like if I was in charge of that shit, I'd be the dopest I'd be the dopest world dominating person ever. Like I'd be like, all right, y'all, like do your thing. Mm-hmm. And then I wouldn't really be tripping.
Yeah, and then I wouldn't really be tripping. I mean, you have to trip though if you're running shit. Even if you weren't corrupted, you still have to worry about people. You know?
But I wouldn't be like. For the reasons that they could potentially be
yeah.
I
see.
Like,
I see what you're
be,
saying.
Like,
mm-hmm.
worried about how to keep them all stupid and hating each other. Like
it would be an asset. It would be like use this shit to get to fucking this place to do sick shit with it. I get what you're saying. It'd be like, you know, when you're playing Pokemon and you have like those futuristic like little cities in the new Pokemon games. It's gonna be like that kind of, you know, where everything's like kind of cyberpunk and fucking.
Speaking of Pokemon games, Omega Ruby. I don't know why, like, on the Game Boy, Omega Ruby, like, Ruby and, like, Leaf Green and all that shit used to feel so fucking, like, cool, but I think back on it now and the graphics are, like, super lame and, like, basic, but, like, when they upgraded it to, like, this new, like, 3D, like, the person walking around and I can, like, see it kind of killed it.
You think it killed it?
Yeah.
Why do you?
Because now the town looks smaller because everything is still the same graphic, but it looks all 3D and shit. So it's like if you're gonna make it look all 3D and shit, then like
expand on everything else too. Yeah, exactly.
Make it look like a real world.
Well, that's what they. If you do play Sword and Shield, you'll see it's kind of a little bit more expanded. Like you have a little bit more time to walk. Like the cities are kind of big, like bigger, I would say, you know. But
why not make it look like how it looks in the anime? It looks so whack in the video game, bro.
I know the anime fucking makes it look sick. They do have games though, like if the new Final Fantasy VII that just came out, it looks real. Like I have no idea what they're doing to the TV. Like they're just recording a movie and then letting you interact with the controller. Like it's fucking crazy, dude. It's going to get to a point. It already is a point where you're putting goggles on, you know? So.
people that are rich are having the fucking time of their life with that shit, bro. They're building like places where there's stairs and there's doors and places that like you jump and like shit happens to you while you have the goggles on that tricks your brain into thinking that everything that you're seeing in the goggles is happening around you.
Exactly.
Like if you need to walk upstairs, then it just like makes you walking upstairs and then you're seeing the shit in your goggles, or like something hits you and then like something will come out and like brush up against, you know what I mean? Like,
no, they have little things. They have this chest piece. They have the whole suit. That you can. It literally emulates fucking touch and everything, bro.
Bro, on Rogan, this fool Duncan Trussell was talking about how they have the porn one.
Exactly, dog.
Like you don't have to have sex no more.
Yeah, you just put that. What the fuck, weird,
bro.
Demolition Man, bro.
Oh my god, they can give you one of the pocket pussies, except it's like a robotic one.
Yeah.
All it has to do is
Shake.
that one piece just has to fuck you back, and you have the goggles on, and any porn star you want to fuck is right there, bro. Which is not something I want to be involved in, but like I can see so many fucking like nerdy ass motherfuckers and just people that are super into that shit just being like going crazy with it, bro. They're never gonna leave their fucking house ever.
Which is crazy to think about. I think that is a little bit of an eye opener that they know a little bit more about consciousness than they want us to, really, really know that they do know. Because when you do, like, this is just a movie, but like The Matrix, if you watch the first one, when Neo wakes up, he's in this like pool thing, and he has to pull this plug from out to like the back of his head, and when he gets up, it's just a huge world full of like these little pods that everybody's in, but they're all in the dream state, so but we're all dreaming together, thinking that we're in that world. Yeah, exactly. So it's like, and then Morpheus goes into what is reality? It's just electrical interpretations, or electrical signals interpreted by the brain.
Our fucking interpretations that fucking gnarly, then we could be put into a simulation and not know that we're in one,
and then put into another one, and then put into it, and then so how far into the simulation really are we?
Maybe that's what the fuck descendants are. Maybe that's what the fuck evolution is. Bro. Bro, we fucking talk about gnarly shit on this podcast, bro. You remember on the first one, I was like, I wonder if in our lifetime we'll see the change of our economic system. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I know. I remember, everything 3 months ago when this happened, everybody was talking about, I wonder if this will happen. And now it's happening right in front of us. The great whatever this is like they're gonna be, like the timestamp of our generation, pretty much is like what I'm seeing. Like if it's not 9/11, because 9/11 was crazy.
Mm-hmm. That's like, already 20 years ago, though.
Exactly.
Which is a whole generation.
You could count that as it. What's a generation?
20 years.
20? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you're right. Boom.
That's fucking wild. Corona 2020.
Yeah, exactly. This is our generation's fucking
9/11.
Whatever.
Bro, it's literally Leonardo DiCaprio Contagion, bro.
That movie is crazy.
Bro, if you've watched it, right?
Yeah.
That's what's going on right now.
I know,
Except it's not that gnarly.
It's not.
It's gnarly in the way it's the same amount of spread, but not the same amount of dead.
And it's like not everyone, like I was saying this the other day. Like if it was as crazy as the COVID-19 as they say, like I can guarantee you COVID-19 is pretty deadly, But if it was like as deadly and as spreading as it was, you'd be seeing people dropping like flies in the streets,
Bro, if it was like H1N1 or like swine flu or any of the ones that didn't spread this gnarly, but those ones spread like that gnarly, so many more people would be dead, bro.
And you would see it, like you would see like the sickness on people, like I don't see people like looking pale and like coughing everywhere and shit like that, like I just see people with masks like scared as fuck.
We're also pretty far removed, though.
No, I know. That's why I'm not saying I'm not like discrediting the fact that there is COVID-19 and there are these deadly diseases and shit like that. But I'm saying I think that it does get exaggerated for sure. Because look, here's the craziest part too. I think I might have said this last time. The coronavirus and the COVID-19 are two different things, right? Like it's the COVID-19 is the newest version of the.
Yeah, the coronavirus is like all those other ones that I was just talking about, in a different form.
It's like the SARS-2 pretty much.
Yeah.
But when they give you the information on all these on the cases, they tell you it's the cases of coronavirus. And then when you go to the CDC website, me and Kara were getting into this. This was crazy, bro. Because she's like, yeah, see, like, it doesn't matter if it just says coronavirus. Look at the deaths. Like, there's still people dying. And I'm like, all right. So I went to the website, and on the CDC website, it says the coronavirus counter isn't verified by actual COVID-19 tests. It's just by verified like oral doctor. Doctors will just say, "Oh, you have COVID-19," and it'll get added to the consensus. Okay. You know, as opposed to it being a COVID-19 test that actually proves positive.
Well, the COVID-19 test is like $2,000.
Exactly.
Bro.
So they're not doing that to everybody. You know,
no, they're barely doing that to anyone.
Exactly. So when you see these numbers, you know, you have to realize that like the coronavirus has been here for a while, and they can give you these numbers, but it's not the same thing as a COVID-19 death.
Yeah. Hey, but that fucking movie last night was so fucking legit, bro. I don't know why, dude. Okay, so I put a poll up on my YouTube and Instagram asking people what they thought of the movie, and like people like a little older than me were like, "Nah, shit was disappointing. That shit was whack." And I'm like, I don't know why. Like whenever someone says something's corny or something's like not as good as the older version, like if I watch it and I go in with no expectations, I always enjoy it. Because I'm not expecting it to be like not Men in Black, fucking Bad Boys 2. I'm not expecting it to be like Bad Boys.
But but here's the thing: everybody loves Bad Boys 2, you know. So there's gonna be this huge cult fan Bad Boys 2 people that are gonna be like, wow, just like
they were mad because Martin was like not as tough, and he took like a super like simp role in this movie. He's like hella like.
Have you seen both of the other ones?
Yeah, I've seen them when I was a kid though. Yeah. I don't remember him like how I know. Like I watched this one and I'm conscious as an adult watching it. I'd have to like go back. I'd have to go back and watch the first two to like know what the fuck was going on.
But since you like the third one, then you're just gonna like the first to the second, and you're just gonna be like, those fools are retarded for thinking that.
Exactly.
It's just an old way of thinking. I think it's weird because it works for some things, you know. Like some things, it's like if it ain't broke, don't fix it, you know. And there's other things that it's like you have to be innovative. You have to think outside the box, or else you can be.
There's some things though, like where artists like gives an album in specific, and then they give another album that shit's garbage. Mm-hmm. But sometimes it's not. So it's like.
But you gotta put it out. They still put it out. You know, it was still them. It was still a piece of them.
Yeah. No, it was a really good movie, bro. Really fucking good. Will Smith is still killing that shit.
Bro, exactly. It was still fucking Will Smith and fucking Martin Lawrence. Like, come on, bro. Two great legends, you know, and you can see them on the big screen, like, whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
Complain about it. No, I haven't seen it.
Well, I'll just give you the login information for my YouTube channel because I bought it.
For sure. Might as well spread the love, huh? Since, like, fucking bought that
shit. It's $20, bro, to watch it on YouTube.
But you have it forever, I guess.
I do.
Until
Vanessa Hudgens is in that shit. She's like one of the tech geeks.
Like as an actor?
On the movie. She's pretty badass. Like, she plays a cop that like is kind of in like this tech geek little squad that Will Smith's ex-girlfriend runs. And she's like pretty badass. She like has braids in the movie. She like has the gun. Thing? She did her thing, bro. Okay. She did her thing. She's not High School Musical anymore.
Yeah, right? A lot of these fucking young actors, where I'll be seen in the movies, I'd be like, what the fuck? You like see like Harry Potter and shit, you know? You be seeing this fool fucking outside of Harry Potter, and it just like it trips you out. Like, I don't know, just random childhood actors that you just see Disney Channel ones.
I feel like certain people though,
Ashley Tisdale and shit,
will never be bigger than their like the role.
Their role, I know, and like Frodo too, you know, niggas like that, like fuck,
Tony Stark.
He's Iron Man forever.
He's Iron Man forever.
But before that, he did his thing, you know.
Yeah, so he did his thing, but like that's his defining role. Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't his first, so you know, at least he's got
Bro, he's got so many fucking
He's got
roles.
a fucking resume. That shit's tight.
Like Johnny Depp will always be fucking Captain.
What's his name?
Jack Sparrow.
But yeah, before that, he's everything else though too, bro. He's.
Dude, speaking of Johnny Depp, he just fucking got his fucking shit back.
What does that mean?
His reputation.
Why?
Because his ex-wife Amber Heard was like Me Tooing the fuck out of him, and people canceled that fool. Like he got kicked out of the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise by Disney.
No, I didn't know that.
2-3 years ago that happened, and then right now she's getting like reverse Me Too'd because we come to find out that she was abusing him the whole time.
Wow.
and like now
Whoa.
she's getting like sued for defamation and like
How does that surface though? Like
a phone call of her like being hella abusive and admitting to doing things to him like got out. Bro, she fucking broke a bottle of vodka over his finger and it cut part of the top of his finger off. Bro, she did a whole bunch of... Go listen. If you go on, like, the blogs and whatnot, you can find the audio.
I got you.
But shouts out Johnny Depp. You're a legend.
Yeah, hey, shout out Johnny Depp. Oh, Edward Scissorhand.
Edward
Unbelievable, bro.
He's been
unbelievable.
Everything, bro. He's everything. All right,
That's the guy.
Let's get into massive black holes.
Some crazy shit.
And all this other shit.
These two videos are funny. They're really funny. A lot of people on the internet are funny. We're funny as fuck, you know?
The fool that narrates this video, you sent me another video that he narrated, and his voice is so like, I don't even know. But when I watched him, it like made more sense.
Mm-hmm. Actually, no, I don't think that's the same dude.
No,
but I think it's the same like type of accent type.
It's not the accent. It's like the way that they talk.
Yeah,
like they just talk like.
Because that was a channel I've never really like been on before. The other one was the Thunderbolts Project one.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was just talking about he was talking about if we go back to the point where the Big Bang started, we could possibly see what was before the Big Bang. So I'm not necessarily sure if they done that or they can't. Right? I don't think they've done it yet. They've gone to the edge of the universe or whatever. Or
is that how you would see it?
Yeah, that's what he was saying. That's what.
Oh shit. Okay.
Or no, that's how it's theorized that.
Okay.
The edge of the beginning of the center of the universe is where the Big Bang started, and it's an outward. Explosion.
Okay. I get what you're saying now.
Mm-hmm.
My bad. I'm a little slow with the science stuff.
Yeah, it's all good. I'm just reading whatever in my notes and shit. You know. Yeah. So he's saying that if we go back to the point where the Big Bang started, we could possibly see what was before the Big Bang, which. I mean, it's kind of like a funny statement. It's like, yeah, if we go into the backyard, we can see what's behind the fence, yeah. Okay, but
I thought he was funny too. I thought he was saying stuff. I'm like, well, duh.
Dr. Penrose suggests that we can see the remains of the old universe. So apparently, the old universe would be a bunch of black holes in the universe as opposed to maybe a bunch of stars. So it'd be like the bunch of vacuums as opposed to a bunch of like, you know, outward projecting light, which would be crazy as fuck. And that kind of makes sense though. But if it kind of makes sense if every universe is the start of a black hole, which is like, you know, a theory that like the black hole starts the Big Bang and then it starts it and then
it expands and then compresses back, becomes a bunch of black holes and then expands. But then they were talking about it and they were like that is under the assumption that the Big Bang is the way that the universe formed. And then assuming that, then you're assuming that every universe forms the exact same way, which we can't assume because we don't know shit
about any of that. Exactly.
But if we do assume that the Big Bang happened and that every universe creates itself in the same way, then we can speculate on some of this.
Exactly. But what is also crazy is that we talked about it last time is that black holes, dark matter, dark energy is all speculation. You know, it's like they can test for it and they can't see it. It bends light. You know, like so basically they're seeing the absence of what is basically what they want to say space or whatever or energy or what the physical that we know of. You know, like they can't explain what this shit is. Basically, they're like
not yet.
Yeah, and they can't see it either. So they're saying that it would be anti-gravity or vacuums, you know, like something that would be the repulsion property to the universe because the stars or like a supernova would be the expulsion, so it would need a balancing force. And that's where all these crazy equations come into. But when we go back to the electric universe, you know, it's all explained a lot more simple that like things actually form
on a line with electricity.
And it'd be
he wasn't considering that at all. In this.
No. A lot of them don't consider like electricity, but he was talking about how the Big Bang would have or did create or whatever we see now. You know, is the cosmic radiation clouds.
Yes,
well, that's what
the CMB
exactly, and that's what the guy last time was talking about how the plasma filaments would get pinched together in the clouds because of how dense the material would be.
Okay,
and then start to form matter. But he's saying that the Big Bang is a result, and then they would make all the plasma clouds are in the universe, and then somehow gravity would take its form, or like, you know, this is the generic model is that gravity would take its form over time, and all these molecular clouds would like eventually become hydrogen molecules, and then
eventually become
yeah,
cells, and eventually make life.
Mm-hmm.
But over trillions.
Over trillions, yeah, exactly. Which is, they're both. I think they both can fit into the same theory if you just kind of realize that electricity plays a part into this whole black hole star theory.
Yeah.
Just because it could have been a Big Bang doesn't mean that there isn't what is driving all this energy is what I keep on getting to the source of.
Bro, a big computer that we're all inside of.
We can speculate on all the things that the universe does, all the weird little nuances it has, coincidences, but what ultimately drives the gravity, if you want to say that it's all about gravity, what ultimately drives the dark matter vacuum, what ultimately drives the supernovas,
I think we should be looking more inward. I feel like if we look more inward, because if you put a fucking motherboard circuit, like a map of like a bunch of stars and galaxies and someone's brain all like side by side, they look so fucking similar.
Mm-hmm.
So like we got one version of the universe, another version of the universe, and then the universe.
And why do you think we created computers to emulate what we're already doing in our minds?
And it's
because
like the universe is
emulated us, and then we emulated. It's all just a reflection of
bro. What
itself.
What if this universe is emulating something that's like more advanced than it?
That? Some crazy.
Bro, because we're more advanced than that, and it's more advanced than us. What if that's what the dimensions are, bro?
But hey, what are you gonna say?
What if the next dimension is just the better version of whatever we are emulating in this universe?
I think that's a great hypothesis. Like, to be honest, that's better than a lot of the modern religions that a lot of the things that I hear. But
dude, it's like God's just making like a big ass program.
But here's the thing, God, like I think we talked about this last time. He doesn't have to be present for it to.
No, he boot it up. You just I want to turn this on today.
Boom. And it could also be ever-creating, self-creating by itself, and getting better. Evolution, it's self-adapting. It's dark energy.
No, it's a natural fucking selection. Bro, what is that shit?
Exactly.
How does, like...
Yeah, what is it?
What the fuck is that? That, like, things just, like, decide that they're better and then kill off the things that are not better? Like, What is that?
But remember what we were talking about last time, too? It's like, yeah, we could blame all of it on a natural selection and, like, survival of the fittest, but... a lot of the traits that we experience aren't, direct uses of survival of the fittest, like it is a natural selection, like a lot of the things that we do now, especially, aren't traits of something that has to do with, it's best to survive in this world or like in the universe, like we kind of have it kind of easy, like a little bit, especially now, in these days, but
that's why it's like the more of the survival of the fittest is going on up here now, because the most successful people in the world are the smartest ones in the world.
Damn, that was a good one right there. Exactly, the survival of the fittest is in the mind. Now it's a mind game
we're
now.
We're past like what's right in front of us object wise, and now we're trying to acquire things because that's like the limit to what you can do as of like what we understand right now in this realm. It's just acquire as much fucking bullshit as possible, more than the next guy next to you, and like whoever gets the most is like the winner. Yay, Monopoly, like real shit. But like, if we can get past that to whatever is next, bro, we can because like think about that. The computer, the internet is always going to be there now. We created it, we turned it on, and now it's there.
It's there. What was it called? AI, fucking Sophia, the fucking Siri, all that shit. That's like you said. We turn it on, it's there forever, no matter what. We
don't even have to intervene with it anymore.
Even if the main motherboard shut it down, someone can emulate. It's a consciousness now. Like someone could be like, "Oh, I'm gonna start Siri again," because they know it's been a thing, and it's somewhere in
space, getting held up by protons and electrons,
like everything else is
waveform. And
we started that, so wouldn't we be considered like a version of God in a weird way? Like a weird.
We're just looking at what, on a small scale, is being done on a large scale.
If we can even consider a large scale, it's large to us, but what is it small to? Like fucking crazy. These
Dr. Seuss had it when he did the Horton.
The Lorax? The Horton, yeah.
Bro, he had it, bro. He was doing tons of acid, dog.
Was he actually?
No, but
I know.
How else, dude?
But it's like, fuck, if he actually was, that would be
I bet that, or he was doing the shit that all the other scientists, because like scientists like Darwin and fucking Isaac Newton and all these fuckers, bro, they were all doing seances and channeling spirits.
Of course.
And like they were tripping.
Bro, until recent times, everybody was doing that shit, you know? Like that's a pretty modern practice, bro. Like seancing, witchcraft, voodoo. It's an equal exchange of energy, pretty much. You know, like you put something out and you get it back. And the easiest way to get something, or the easiest way to somewhere, is a straight path. You know, so if you can find a shortcut to anywhere, you can rip a dimension. You can rip a hole in a dimension and grab exactly what you need.
Isn't that what a black hole is, though? Or maybe a black hole is like an uncontrollable wormhole.
Exactly. Yeah. And a wormhole would be something that you could control, or I mean. I don't know. Yeah, something like that.
Well, like the black hole is created by the universe trying to balance itself. The wormhole is like a cheat code.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah. But what would the wormhole do? Because what would balance the wormhole?
Create an equal black hole is that where these black holes are coming from? The imbalance of the shortcuts? Because we're not actually supposed to be doing all that stuff. Like, you know,
it's like the circuitry like falling in on itself.
Mm-hmm.
Like a virus in a computer. Like eventually the computer, like it's not old. The parts are still usable. If you took the computer apart, put it back together, and reset it,
put some new metal in it, yeah, exactly.
Then it would be fine. But because it's been corrupted or like eaten away at, the motherboard has been like fragmented, as they call it,
abused. Yeah, exactly. That's crazy to think about.
It gets all slow, and it fucks up, and it crashes.
And it does, yeah. And it starts like, yeah,
dude, what the fuck? We're like figuring out the universe right now.
We always do this shit.
All right.
But I wanted to add on. Okay, so I saw this crazy documentary last night. I forget what it's called, like the frequency beings or something like that.
No way.
And I've been watching a bunch of documentaries, and so the ancient Egyptians talk about so alchemy comes from Egypt, right? So it's like alchemist is the old name for Egypt, and that's where the dark arts of the Egyptians is alchemy, and that's the transmuting of base metals, you know. So, and that's where we get chemistry from, pretty much. So, it's an old practice of science, which is dealing with molecular studies. But what the Egyptians were talking about is the Eye of Horus. We're talking about Osiris as the spine. You know, we're talking about the body as well, right?
Yeah.
And the whole point was to become the highest Osiris of yourself, or the highest alchemist. And an alchemist, it changes the molecular structure. The chemistry is, the changing molecular structure of things, right?
Yeah.
And our brain is the chemist. It's the ultimate chemist behind everything that we do. And it's a subconscious chemistry that's going on with electrical signals and like what do we always talk about? As I was saying, so our subconscious would be the hands behind, the hands without hands of what is basically making the chemical reactions that we always talk about and the electrical signals go off in our brain, because we're not actively, if you can't think of having these neurons fire to go do things, the subconscious does it for you, and then you act upon it. Like I was saying, it's kind of a psychic, ability, because you think about it right before it happens. Like, it's
your
instant.
Subconscious does it before you realize that it does it, and then you have the thought after. Your subconscious already had the thought.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. But it's also doing all the chemical reactions that are going on in your brain are happening because the subconscious is pushing these things towards, the pineals bringing the adrenaline up to your secreting outside of your brain, so you can get fucking alert when it's time to be when it's time to be alert, because you're scared. There's fucking there's a danger around, or you get the feeling of love because your heart starts to pump more blood because of the electrical signals that are being magnified by the brain. So there's a subconscious hand, or there's a hidden hand, pretty much, like they would call the Illuminati, the hidden hand, that is doing alchemy all the time in our brain, because it's the chemistry that is wiring everything that we do. Because the electrical signal, what do chemists do? They change the the molecular structure of things to get different outcomes of things, and that's basically what we do. So when the chemist in your brain decides to change the chemistry, you decide to do the outward, projection of that. So if your chemistry isn't white, then you're gonna be lazy all the time. You're not gonna have that drive to do things. But if you're wired, if you're in that that energy where your wiring is like, like flowing correctly.
Easy to visualize it. Because when you're not in that mode, it's not easy to visualize. When you can't visualize, you can't execute.
Mm-hmm. So that's what they're talking about when they're talking about alchemy. It's it's not even the transmuting of base metals. That's what it's what the later is, because that's the physical. That's the outward projection of alchemy, as opposed to the inward, which is always happening in your brain. And we have
chemical.
All chemical, and we have the highest form, supposedly, like that we know of because of the consciousness that that humans possess over the animal kingdom, per se, So
that's where it's survival of the fittest.
Mm-hmm. So that's a crazy concept that they came up with a long time ago, bro. Like just the chemistry of things and how it changes. Whoo!
All chemists.
All chemists, yeah, we're all chemists. Exactly.
It's crazy how words do that too.
Mm-hmm. Words is everything, bro. Words are everything.
Word. Because
it's like it's the song of your soul, pretty much. Like what you emanate from, your vocal cords is like literally the inside voice that is in you is going to get projected into this vibration that is what you've ultimately, made yourself
worthy,
into.
Made worthy
exactly.
To say or not say. Speak or not speak.
So that's why it's so super important to know what to say and what not to say, even though we always talk about how even if you think it, it's going to, manifest regardless of what, you vibrate into the world. But
I read something one time where it was talking about how, like, if you do have a thought that you don't want to project out into the universe, all you got to do is, like, apologize to the universe.
I'm sorry.
No, I read that shit, though. Like, you, like, put out a signal, and then you have to, like, be, like, consciously recognize that you put the signal out, and then put out the opposite of that, and, like, make the universe aware that you were conscious that you put something out that you don't want back in return. Something like that. It was some weird shit. I'm like, okay, I don't know if that's real, but that kind of seems like a human trying to explain something that can't be explained.
Can't be explained, yeah. Well, whatever. A lot of things are like that. Let's get into the Epic of Gilgamesh, because that shit is, that all ties into all this ancient history. The fucking Babylonians and Assyrians were fucking crazy.
Bro, nuts.
That lady was kind of funny, though, bro. Did you actually hear the story that she told of how the dude deciphered the Epic?
I did, but I didn't write it down, so, like, I'm kind of like, can you
okay,
tell me what she was saying again?
So it was basically two dudes. It was George Smith, and he taught himself how to read cuneiform, which is crazy because, like, only at that time, basically there was only 3 or 4 people that could read, that taught themselves pretty much from scratch how to read cuneiform. So, like, cuneiform is crazy, bro, because when you get down to the nitty gritty, like, not that many people really know what the fuck is up, bro. And the people that actually deciphered it weren't 100% with it, just like with every ancient language, because, like, there's obviously different.
It gets lost in translation.
Yeah, and all we can do is piece together old, more recent languages and see like what those words could have meant, and like kind of like they said that they have the full alphabet like completely deciphered, but when they did a decipherment of it, they had different copies within each of the 4 people that did the copies, So it's kind of like, I'm not saying that they don't have the decipherment, but it's like just like the ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs, like they don't have that shit. They don't know that shit like 100%. There's no way. They don't even know how they talked back then, Like they don't know how the language actually sounded. But regardless, that chick was saying that the dudes found the epic, or would be the flood tablet. Well, before they knew what it was called, I think they were just clay tablets that they found, and they're dated to 2700 BC, which is fucking old as dirt, goddamn. But she said that the guy went, or it was George Smith went into the British Museum at his lunch breaks and like anytime he could, and she said that just by like just staring at it, figured it out.
Okay, well that's kind of like, okay, I can parallel that over. I was watching this polyglot person on YouTube talk about how she was Indian and she grew up in France, and she would speak 2 native Indian dialects. She had to learn French and English to be at school, so she already knew 4 languages. She watched Korean soap operas, and just by watching the Korean soap opera and watching their body language, she was intuitively able to figure out what it is that they were saying and learn how to speak the language because she already had learned so many other languages.
Hell yeah.
So if this dude was just staring at the cuneiform forever, just like trying to figure it out, looking at puzzles, piecing things together, eventually it's just gonna
click. Okay, but then how do you know that that's? How do you know that you deciphered it?
Have you ever dropped acid and
Of course, I know that I know things. Yes, I get what you're saying. Yeah, I know.
It's just kind of like
It's a boom. You know, I know. But that's just crazy to me. That's the story. You know, like that's the story of George Smith being obsessed with cuneiform so bad that
he just figured it out.
Yeah. He had to. I think he was tripping.
I feel like mixing is like I figured out mixing just the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't get it. I didn't get it. I didn't get it. I didn't get it. Oh shit! I got it. Just from like staring at it and like doing it over and over again.
That just that goes back in fucking chemistry though, bro. You know, like the wiring in his brain ended up being so strong that he fucking figured out an ancient language. It is. I mean, that all goes back into the same shit though. You know, it's wired. It's encoded in your DNA to have this subconscious. You know, because without it, when we have children, you know, it's weird because we can sit here all day and talk about chemical reactions, electricity, and all this stuff. But if we found out how to make a human, or we found out how to multiply the cells to make a human body, what would be the consciousness? You know, we could put electricity into it, but it wouldn't be a human. You know, like there would still need to be a power source. It would have to be electricity that makes all the fucking neurons fire off and makes it send the electrical signals down to the
will to live. Where's the will to live gonna come from?
And that's weird that the DNA doesn't code a spirit, you know, like we can't prove that. It codes RNA, it codes protein, you know, like that's what we say it does. And then there's 98% junk DNA, which is crazy to think about that they want, you know. But then they figured out later on that the junk DNA actually has really, really minor purposes, I think. But I think that we just haven't, we haven't really.
Maybe that's where the soul's at.
The 98% that we can't figure out. Thank you. Thank you. Exactly, bro. What? Trippy concepts to think about, right?
There's alien matter in bee pollen, bro, that they don't know where the fuck it comes from. There's so much shit we don't fucking know about, and people like to think that, like, scientists know this shit. Like, we know. No. This fool is talking about the fucking most comprehensive science that they understand about space currently and said, but this is all theoretical.
He literally said that shit.
This is all a theory. And, like, people like to fucking...
You're like, no.
This is concrete. This is how it is. It's not. We don't know fucking shit, bro.
A thing. That's why we gotta stick with each other. We gotta fix our Earth first, bro. To be completely honest, 6%
is understood, bro.
6% of the oceans, 98% of our DNA is junk. Most of the matter in space is dark energy or dark matter or black holes that we can't explain what they do
or go into, because if we go into it, we might not come back.
And it's all just a mystery about. And then there's that whole, you know, like, oh, we use only 10% of our brains, whether other people will be like, no, we use all of our brains. But I think that whole 10% thing goes into the fact that, like, we're not using efficiently 100% of our brain 100% of the time, if that makes sense. You know, like, we obviously don't use 10% of this whole fucking brain because you can see when you put it under, like, you know, different microscopes, you can see, like, the different neurons firing off everywhere.
I think it just means 10% of max cap.
Exactly. And I think that's what that means, too, because people argue, no, you actually use all the brain, you know. And they'd be like, yeah, of course you have to use all the brain or else we'd be fucking, you know, for my lack of better words, like mentally retarded, you know, like you'd just be slow, you know, you can't. But
if you're using it at its full capacity,
you'd be fucking. And that you could just prove that by some people just being smarter than, you know, or just having a higher IQ or just having, like, you know, being, like, not even per se smarter than someone, but having the neurons fire faster than other people, you know, like they just get the information to their brain and they can speak it thoroughly faster than other people, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're smarter.
The idea that that's not a teachable thing is crazy to me, bro. And I get it, because, like, my mom my whole life was like, bro, you think, like, Matt, you think different, like, you are different, like, you pick things up quicker than other people might, but, like, with certain shit, yes, but with certain shit, no.
Yeah.
And, like, when you apply yourself to something that you don't pick up quick and you figure it out, it just helps you figure the next thing that might have stumped you out quicker the next time.
Exactly.
So, like, if you can just, bro, if, like, that was the focus of, like, our children and, like, schools focused on that, bro, like, instead of, like, bro, kids they separate themselves based on like popular and nerdy and dumb. Like, what the fuck is that? Like,
it's
they're
TV.
not even. What is that, bro? Like, they're not even focused on school when they're at school.
Exactly.
Even the nerds are like, they're like secretly wishing they could be a part
the cool kids.
of the cool kids, and the cool kids don't really get shit, so they need help from the nerds. And it's like, what is this? Because we could all be on the same exact fucking level, bro. Every single one of us has the ability and the mind power and the capacity.
Exactly.
It can be taught. It all can be taught.
You can.
But then again, it's like life. There has to be the will. A person has to have the will to understand that it can be taught, to have it taught to them. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. And that's crazy because I think that it's not the problem with people, but it is the problem with how humanity works right now, is that you can just write off something as whatever I don't give a fuck about that shit, bro, because it's not necessary to survival. Does that make sense? You know, like, if I could sit here and talk about how Saturn is the old sun all day, every day to someone, and they could be like, nigga, fuck that shit. I'm trying to go get a check right now, you know, because that's what the current state of the world is based on. And if you don't get a check, you're not going to be able to eat tomorrow, you know, like that's real shit. But what I'm talking about is also real shit, but doesn't apply to survival. You know,
it inspires survival.
I know. It should inspire survival.
Inspired to survive if that's it, bro? Eat, sleep, fuck, repeat. Eat, sleep, fuck, repeat.
I don't know.
I can't do that, bro.
Know.
I need intimate connection to the universe, bro. I need an intimate connection to the universe. I need the people around me to also have that intimate connection to the universe, so that when I am not connected, they can pull me back to connection.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what Yamina does for me. That's what you do for me. That's what Eddie does. You know what I mean? Like, you have to have people around you that, like, understand the shit that you're about.
I know, bro. And it's hard, bro. It's crazy. I've been, like, talking with, like, Zill and Bougie and fucking just anybody in our immediate group, and fucking just teaching them, like, or just telling them all the shit that I learned about the electric universe, about the Bible, you know, and like I broke through to Bougie and Zill, like, for sure this weekend, bro. Like, Bougie's like tripping the fuck out on all this shit. Like, I especially after our podcast and everything, he was like, bro, you guys went off on that shit, dog. He's like, that was super sick, dog. Because me and him have always been into this stuff, you know, but like I think it takes one of your best friends to be more into it, you know, or just like like to be driven into it for you to even be interested, because, you know, like, without someone's interest in either in anything, you're not going to be really, you know, you don't
it's
really.
It's always like relatable, bro.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be relatable. That's what got me into being plant-based. Fucking Aaron and Dom. If they didn't do that shit, I wouldn't be here.
Exactly.
Because you have to, like, see it, feel it, and, like, want to relate to
it. Exactly. And that's how everything works from the very beginning.
That's how they trick you.
That's how they trick you. Exactly.
Because if it's not relatable, Saturn being the old sun, not relatable.
Not relatable.
It doesn't apply to me. I see no interest in this.
When it really does. Fuck. We didn't get really into the epic. She was just talking about how stone is, and like old tablets and things of that nature are important because they can't get washed away with like the sands of time, the waters, the wave, you know, anything that Mother Nature can throw at us, it won't destroy. Like, this shit will just get washed away. You never get my memory back again, you know. The cloud could be there, but I could never access my password again, or some shit like that, you know, just dumb shit like that. But there's always going to be the hieroglyphs. There's always going to be the cuneiform tablets that we found. Like,
that's why I think they're more advanced than us, because they understood something about time that we seem to not
understand at all, or
care about.
Are geared to not really care about, you know, because I think people care about time on a small scale. They're not thinking about the whole lifetime that they're gonna have to do something. They're thinking about our week, our month. Yeah,
these motherfuckers are like, people 6,000 years from now are gonna see this shit.
Dude. This is the true definition of hindsight's 2020.
For real.
They
the
knew.
People that built the pyramids are like, motherfuckers, 20,000 years from now.
You guys are gonna
see this shit.
Exactly. See this. It's the last standing wonder of the world. I'm pretty sure.
Ancient wonder.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I think I saw. It's the last, or like there's like 2 or 3, bro.
Okay.
But it's the oldest for sure. You know.
It's one of the oldest. They think the Sphinx is like.
Well, like the whole pyramid. Yeah. The whole, I meant like the whole Giza plateau. I'm talking about like advanced and old. You know, like
Yeah, bro.
There's obviously things that way like predate that for sure, and
they're telling someone else about us with that, bro.
What do you mean?
That's not for humans to see.
Oh, yeah, or
because
whatever.
When you see it from space, it literally maps the Orion Belt, and it's on that Mars shit too.
Like so does the fucking Mexicos and the pyramids in Mexico.
We don't talk about this at all in society. Belittles me, bro. And I just used a very white British word right now, but that shit belittles me that we focus on fucking sexual harassment from Donald Trump and bullshit going on with coronavirus and China and 5G wet markets and 5G.
Fucking bats. So yeah, exactly,
like, bro. This is what people are like. It's occupying their brain waves 24/7.
Yeah, that's why we're only using 10% of our shit, because 90% of it's clouded up. Like, you know, shit,
dude. Because like, okay, people say that this is all bullshit because not that many people know a lot about it and it's not in our mainstream conversation. You take any individual, rip them out of society, and show them this information, and tell me that they're not going to be interested in it.
Exactly.
Take them out of their normal environment. You don't have to force them, but like, let's say, put them in this weird dream world where all of this information gets fed to them, like a trip. It will interest the fuck out of them, bro. And you can't go back after you learn some shit like this, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You just can't. Like, where are you gonna go back to? It just doesn't even make sense. Like, the way I used to think about things doesn't even make sense anymore.
It shouldn't, right? Oh, before we end, another thing I wanted. It was another thing on that podcast or the documentary. I'll try and fucking link them if I can. I don't remember exactly where I watch so many things and read so many things, you know, that it all gets like blended in together. But this dude was basically talking about how if the consciousness, you know, like if everything is really just a consciousness, the earth is just like creating life, we're creating life, the sun's creating life, you know, all that stuff, then us being under pressure all the time, or like say you feel stressed. Our ancestors have been stressed. They've been through all this, you know, they've been through oppression and all this stuff. But all the pressure makes the diamonds, you know, the carbon. All the pressure from the earth creates the most beautiful stone that is one of the most precious stones that we have. And every stone for that matter, you know, all crystals and all diamonds and all stones come from the pressure of the earth. So we can apply that to, you know, just our reality, and just the pressure that we go through makes us into precious stones that it doesn't matter if we're corrupted by like this whole system of whoever the fuck's running this, you know, whatever's going on and it's corrupting your mind. If you're doing right, if you're living by love, then you know it's like it doesn't really, you know, you're creating your own type of gem, regardless of if you're into consciousness, if you know anything about chakras, if you know anything about anything, you know. But life is on its own path.
You don't even have to be a master of that. I feel like back in the day, you had to be a master to like understand it, because like otherwise you couldn't be a disciple of that person that's teaching the information. But like you said, if you can just sideline all that shit, go straight to love, and then you're there.
It's exactly what it is. It's love, exactly. But that's hard to just be all loving. You know, it's hard to just be loving at all the time. And, you know, everyone goes through their ups and downs, but that's where the pressure makes you into a diamond. Fucking trippy shit.
There's this thing, you know how sometimes in your mind, like your brain, or like maybe not your brain, because like we say, like the thing that like powers our body isn't even coming from here.
Mm-hmm.
So like there's sometimes where like the inner voice in my head will say shit, or like I'll try to like wrap my brain around what the fuck I'm feeling or trying to get at, and I can't even do it because it doesn't exist out here.
It's alien. It's E.T.
It's E.T. And one of the things that I've been like trying to like wrap my fucking mouth and my language around is like describing what could possibly be beyond the duality of like light and dark and good and evil. And I just wanted to say it on the podcast because like my mind is like working on like my subconscious mind is working on something right now to like explain something that I can't yet say with words. And it has to do with
and you think it all the time, but you can't formulate it because it's not in the realm of you explaining it, because it doesn't even make sense as a concept to this third or whatever dimension we're in. Yeah. I have a lot of those, bro. I have a lot of those right now, bro, that I think that in the past 6 months that I've gotten a lot of those out that I've had for the past couple of years, and now I have more that I need that are gonna take more years to come out just because they're formulating. Alchemist is fucking.
But it's like right there. It is. It's right there, but it's not. Like you can't say it in English. English doesn't describe it.
Doesn't describe it. Yeah, none of this shit describes it. You're gonna have to figure that shit out.
All right.
That's a real problem too. Language. Fuck. We'll get into that next time. Anyway, have fun with that stimulus check. Don't spend it all on stupid shit. Save that bitch. Or invest in something cool that's going to make you more money. Because hindsight's always 20/20. Look at your year. Look at your month. Look at your week. Look at your day. Look at your hour. Look at the history. Look at the fucking...
Second.
The cuneiform tablets from 3400 BC. And...
Don't regret none of that shit.
Don't regret none of it. Exactly.
Later, y'all.